We went to Hobo Freight. That's the smallest one they make. Really, I probably should have spent the money. They had an open box. It was a ton and a half one.
No, it was a 3/4.
Oh, ton and 3/4, something like that. For 71 bucks. I should have done that, but we spent $100 bill while we were there anyway. That's 65 bucks. It's a 500 pound, which is enough for the pump. And it fits nicely. And the other thing we got, one of those nice open box specials. It's like 10 bucks off what you would pay for just the charger. We have 5 days to take it back if it don't work, so we're making sure it's working. If it don't work, it might go back today. And she's working on getting the last bolt out now. We got the brace off the front. And piece of 1x under here. I had to shave the end to slip it in there, but it's under. And that'll hold there. Guess what? It's still in there. I think we'd have had it out by now if it wasn't for that screwed up joint. And the other one's only working one direction, but I think it's the direction it moves the farthest. She's taking another clamp off a hard line. Oh, there's that bracket that supports the front, by the way. I've got it dark in here. I should have brought, you can see how far back it is. I mean, you can see through, I can see the coupler through the hole. I switched chisels, just using it for a spacer, using a pry bar on the other side and spacing it there. I think the line she's on is this one. It's pulled back a little bit, and it's got the way the clamp's on it, it can't. So you gotta take the clamp clear off so it can move it all. And then I think all we gotta do is move it a little. One of the things I saw on the blog, the guy said he cut, and then they sent pictures too, they cut the U-joint.
There better not be a fucking nail on the other side of that.
That's great. But I really don't want to get a torch in there. It's not a good place to put one. Hey, it's off the end of the shaft. Now you just got to get it out of there. I'll show you what we did. Number one, unhooked all the clamps on the lines underneath to give them a little more movement. And the thread I was reading on Google, the guy said he just unhooked the linkage, and that's all he unhooked. Didn't have to unhook any lines. Well, me being a smart guy I am, you got the centering compensator, whatever they want to call that. I unhooked that. Had to take the one off. It's right there. The way these work, get my hand in here and show you. There's 3 tabs off here. This is what runs your swedge plate. This goes to your handle. The next one down there, the bolt's still in because you can't take the bolt out. That goes to your centering deal. And there's one more underneath that goes to a shock. Well, one shock was bottomed out and the other shock was stretched out all the way. And we finally got to where we had no more movement here. So I literally just took those 4 more bolts out, holding the linkage together. And I gained another 1/4 inch of movement, which got it off the edge of the shaft, but it didn't get it to drop out. So I put the bar back in, held onto my block there so it didn't drop, and it dropped out. So we're that far. Now we can see what the Carnage really is. Okay, there's what we got. Still got one glove on. Gotta watch my phone. It's got nice movement that way, doesn't it? I'm not sure what to do there. What I was thinking about is I can fill that back in with weld. And then when this piece goes back in, put it in the other way so the load's not against where the weld is. Be against a good spot. Yeah, it moves that way. That's all the movement that way. If I get you back far enough, you can see. is see, U-joints are meant to have, you know, they're meant to move like this. That's what keeps the needle bearings moving and lubricated. And but when it's too straight, they don't move. This one moves okay here, and it's actually pretty smooth, and kind of impressed there. This way, yeah, that's it. I can't even force it beyond that. Same with that one. That's it. So that's the most movement that has in there to begin with. What I've been able to find, this is no longer available from Case, but there's 2 or 3 aftermarket outfits that have new. Lots of used out there. I can't see spending $450 for a used one. And I mean, this is fine. This is fine. I thought there might have been a grease zerk on here. And you gotta remember, last time I was into this was in 1993 when I blew a pump up and we had to replace the barrel and all the pistons in it. And what I learned then, since it was a friend of mine who happened to be a mechanic at Case Industrial in Portland and worked on them all the time, that's the last time these were greased. Because once it's in there, you cannot grease it. There is no physical way to get to this one to grease it. And the way it sets in there, there's either a plug or a grease zerk in one of these holes. Must be, maybe, I don't know. So I remember we greased it. But I don't see any grease zerks. Interesting. I don't even see any plugs. More interesting, because I swear we greased it, because he said, no, now's the time to do it. It's the only time you can get to it. When it's in there, you can't get the tip of a grease gun in here to get on a zerk. So that is kind of interesting, because I swear we greased it. He was adamant about that. But some of the ones I've seen pictures of online show a grease zerk in here. Which, does it need it? Definitely doesn't hurt. But if you can't get to it to grease it, why bother? Grease the piss out of it when you put it together. And realistically, I mean, if I was to start measuring those, you might find some wear. But to look at those splines are beautiful. So, I'm going to get it apart, see what I think about repairing that. Might see if I can get just this piece. I don't know. So, that's what we got so far. The Carnage.
Sorry.
That's the side that you could see before we took it apart. That's the other side. This piece is fine. Just need to clean it up. Beating them out, I kind of, which side was it? I kind of banged her there a little bit, but that's nothing we can't clean up. Just got to get it back so it's smooth on this side, so it'll go in. This was one of those 2 cups. That's the other one. Now, here's the good side. I'll get you in so close that I don't even know what I'm showing you. That's the better half, but it did wear into it. And of course that one broke out. So I'm not sure. I'm toying with the idea of maybe getting a hold of Tom, because I don't have a brass slug to put in it, and he's got everything he needs. He can clean it up, put a brass slug in it, weld them up. You can weld that one up too. Can't put a brass slug in to weld it, but weld it up. And then he can bore it to size. I'm hoping he should have everything he needs for that. Or get a new one. I'm going to check and see if there is such thing as a new one and go from there.